Closed caption brought to you by
The Laurels of Toledo. Embrace the Laurel Way.
Good morning, happy Easter weekend, everybody. Welcome into Love My 419 for the Harold Jaffe Jeweler Studios. I'm Andrew Z. Sandy Eisenberg is here, of course. Steve Remy is here, drinking his coffee, getting ready for the day. We got a very busy show. We've got the hottest dad in the world.
Baby.
Burning hot, burning love.
Scorching.
He's going to be coming in the studio, a piece of man meat for you, a piece of man Easter ham. He's your human Easter ham.
There you go.
He'll be right in here in just a couple minutes. Also, you can talk about an amazing event for special needs kids,
right.
A free event that's coming up, basketball camp. So
which is good for
absolutely. And of course, got hot topics and a lot of stuff to do on today's show. It's Easter weekend. We'll take a break. We'll kick it off next right here at Love My 419.
Love My 419 is brought to you by Harold Jaffe Jewelers. Without them, there is no Love My 419, and without Love My 419, how will you know about all the wonderful people, places, businesses and things that make up the 419? So stop in to Harold Jaffe Jewelers anytime, Monday through Saturday, and let them know how much you appreciate them for bringing you the quality television like Love My 419. They're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you for watching Love My 419.
Fire cushion. Your promise. Your commitment. So magnificent, it will ignite her passion. Its unmatched beauty expresses the power of your love. The most perfectly cut, most gorgeous cushion diamond in all the world. Fire cushion. Exclusively at Harold Jaffe.
Love My 419 is brought to you in part by the Joe Hamill team of Key Realty. Love My 419 is brought to you in part by Rachel Michaels Gourmet Popcorn. Stop in today and tell her that you love the 419. You will receive a free mini popcorn bag, courtesy of Love My 419.
Welcome back to Love My 419 from the Harold Jaffe Jeweler Studios. Andrew Z, Sandy Eisenberg, Steve Remy. This segment brought to you in part by
Our friend Rachel Michaels. Hey, she has cookie dough now.
Ooh.
Sounds nummy.
It's good. And she's starting a QR code club. So you pick up a card in the store to take advantage of all the specials and the free offerings all spring.
And we have the free bag of popcorn
And
for
the
mentioning
free
Love
bag
My
of popcorn.
You
419.
mentioned Love My 419.
All right, it's time for hot stuff in the 419. Let's start with there's a rail system that's been proposed from Toledo to Detroit. You're going to go to Ann Arbor, and then it's going to go over to the airport.
I love it.
Do you? Would you use it?
Hello?
Absolutely, so I would.
Totally would use it.
But I can recall Art Wilkowski, when he was in the House in Columbus, wanted to do a rail. I mean, my God, that's like 40 years ago, and we still don't have one.
Anytime
so
I
God
can
bless
be-
whoever this guy is,
I love
if
it.
he can do it. Well, they got one in Florida,
If
Fort
they put a
Lauderdale.
beverage car on it, I'll love it even more.
Right?
Listen, if you're in the right spot, bring your own beverage.
Yeah, have a hot, especially if you're going on vacation or something. You can have a hot toddy there on the train,
Sipping and tripping.
sipping and tripping.
I hope I live long enough to see it.
There's talking about local residents now are fundraising for the Notre Dame I was gonna say casino. Notre Dame Casino.
Yeah.
For the Notre
I
Dame
need one.
Cathedral. Yeah.
Right.
Notre Dame Cathedral,
Oh,
which was
so sad.
it was tragic. Of course,
I
seeing
mean,
that.
it lived for 800 and some years.
Lived through the Nazis.
Lived through the Nazis, lived through World War I, lived through the Revolution.
I didn't know the crown of thorns were there. Like the crown of thorns was there. I'm like, I want
What?
to see that. That was one of the relics that they got
Right,
out of
and
there.
They made it?
supposedly the
One of the ones that
cross-
made it?
And
Yeah.
supposedly the cross that Christ was crucified
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
was
wow.
saved.
All in there.
Yeah.
They got it all. So, but they're over $1 billion raised already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna, but they still say with that kind of money, they're still saying it's gonna be closed for 5 to 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah. They said it could be a decade before.
Man, you could. That's a lot of money.
But you have to understand, there's so much intricate glass and details.
Yeah, but you could have teams of 100 people working around the clock with that kind of money.
Right.
We'll see.
I may go into the point business.
They're talking about the traffic cam ban. There's this citizen. There's this citizen that's starting this petition. I want to be the first one to sign that mofo.
Be the second
Thank
one to
you.
sign that.
Thank
And
you.
I will not sign it.
Get rid of them.
God, they're so
Keep 'em.
annoying. They're annoying.
No,
they're
not.
annoying.
If you're following the law, they're not annoying.
You know what else? You know what else is annoying? Annoying to Republicans, but not annoying to Democrats. Do you know that Bernie Sanders, Crazy Bernie, as Trump calls him, snuck into town last week before his rally in Grand Rapids? Yeah, Ahmed Steakhouse up on a Lexus.
How rude. He didn't even call.
How did you not know?
I didn't know.
You know everything that goes on in this
How
town.
rude. I have to call my connection.
Yeah, I know.
Cuss
He
him out.
came into Ahmed. There was a picture posted online, and it's like, well, Bernie was in town.
When did somebody save the bone from the pork chop?
I don't think he was doing pork chops.
He can't.
See Bernie now.
I don't think they do pork chops at Ahmed.
Oh no, they don't. He came in and it's funny because he had a meal and then just gonna have the taxpayers pay for it.
Oh, there you go.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Listen,
That's socialism.
He's one of the 1% now.
Well, that annoys me. The media is so stupid nowadays. They're so basic. They're just so basic. Well, he's a 1%er now. He's 1%er now. So what?
Yeah.
He made money. Well, sorry. Why?
He wrote a book.
He wrote a book.
for
He
you.
made money. Big deal. They're making such a big deal out of that stupid thing.
They ought to concentrate on things that are really
Matter?
important.
Yes.
Yeah.
God,
Hello?
the media is
Like climate.
Well, the problem is there's so many dummies watching television, and that's who they want to.
I am telling you that I am so sick to death of all of it that I'm watching home cooking shows again.
Really, you're not watching politics?
After
It's too early, huh?
Morning Joe in the morning, and then it's back to 65 food.
Oh, girl, you should be watching HGTV.
That's what that guy does.
All right. So the city has hired a new consultant to raise
Another one.
capital for universal preschool in town.
And I think universal preschool would be wonderful. I
Yes.
think these little munchkins need to be in school. If they're not well cared for at home, they need to be someplace where somebody's
agree.
going to love them and care for them and nurture them and teach them.
No, I agree 100%. You know,
And keep them off the streets from an early age.
what I don't understand, and I don't know anything about the education system or anything like that, but there's no reason why, if you pay the taxes you're supposed to pay, or you live in the United States of America, that because you live in Perrysburg, that you should have smart boards and all this stuff. And if you live in the inner city, you're teaching on books that are 20 years old.
Right.
This makes no sense. This should be equal distribution. It's ridiculous.
When I went to school, I went to Glenwood School to the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing. Moved to Old Orchard area. Went to Old Orchard. I had no idea what they were teaching in Old Orchard because it certainly wasn't anything I was taught at Glenwood.
Wow.
They talked about diagramming sentences, social studies,
I don't
historical
understand.
events.
They should be on the same. They should be on the same learning plane, and they should have the same tools
Absolutely.
that anyone has. But that's
Absolutely.
common sense. How is that not being done? That's just common sense.
I have no clue, and my friends are
get
on the school board for the city of Toledo Public Schools. I'm a graduate of Toledo Public Schools. I don't know. Are they not paying attention?
I don't get it.
I mean, I know friends that are teachers that have to buy their own books, their own pencils, their own coloring things. They teach younger grades, Play-Doh, whatever else, their own cards. And in some cases, they might get their own computers. Come on.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, there's no excuse for it.
That is some of the hot topics that people in the 419 are talking about. We'll take a break and come back with more Love My 419 coming up next.
Love My 419. Brought to you in part by Powell's Beauty Supply, servicing Toledo for over 30 years. Also brought to you by The Butler, Master Barber, changing lives one haircut at a time. Find him inside the Operations Barber Shop, 1824 North Reynolds Road. Coming up, more Love My 419.
It's on green. Like mine's not. Now it is.
There he is. Where's it at? All right, sir. Okay, now let's go for it. Now, did I find it?
It's on top. It's like a little.
Oh, that's it. Slide. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, well, that helps. One,
Yeah.
1, 2,
There
3.
you are. Thank you,
There
sir.
it is.
Love My 419 is brought to you in part by The Laurels of Toledo. Embrace the Laurel Way.
The most perfectly cut, most gorgeous cushion diamond in all the world. Fire Cushion. Exclusively at Harold Jaffe.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Love My 419 for the Harold Jaffe Jeweler Studios. We'll introduce our guests in a moment. I'm Andrew Z, Sandy Eisenberg, Steve Remy as well. And this segment brought to you in part by
Joe Hamill, Key Realty. If you want to buy a house or sell a house, he is the man to do the job.
Yes, sir. All right, so we've got a special guest here. Clint Hazelit is here. How you doing, Clint?
I'm doing great.
No,
Thanks for having me.
if you guys haven't heard the story about Clint, his son Colin posted a little a blurb about you saying, "Hey, my dad wants to be a model," and all of a sudden Twitter kind of took it from there, and you become kind of an internet sensation over the last couple weeks.
It went crazy.
It went crazy. Now, let me look at Steve. What?
You're welcome, ladies.
Now, Clint, you were a pastor for 20 years at different churches here in the Toledo area, and then in September you decided, you know what, I want to go a different direction. Did you leave religion, or did you just say, hey, I just leaving the church, or what was going on back in September?
I basically was just stopping pastoring where I was. Just my time there, I felt like it was coming to a close. You don't just draw things out just to have a job.
Right.
You know? And it was a great, successful ministry, and things were going great, and I just felt like what I could provide for that ministry, I'd reached kind of a limit with my skill set. And it was just time to transition, and for the church's benefit, not necessarily for mine.
So, but you'd been at a couple other churches. So, was your next plan to go to another church, or what happened? How did you take this detour?
You know, I had resigned at the church, and they'd give me a little bit of severance, and they were very good to me when we left. But I really had nowhere else to go. I had no plans. Home. I went home, and I just spent some time with family and just kind of reconnected. And really, I needed some rest, some revitalization. I'd just been kind of down. And
Yeah.
It was time.
It was just time.
Yeah.
That's when you know. And sometimes not everybody knows, but there was a point where I was just like, it's time to adjust here. And you can adjust all you want, but you don't have to have a place to go when you've adjusted. And so, God had really just confirmed in my heart that it was just time to adjust, to make that adjustment, but he didn't give me anything else.
A direction.
A direction. And so that was what that next few months was for me. What's next?
Yeah.
And I have one son that's still in school. I didn't want to move. My wife's a teacher down the road. I didn't want to move. So I was going to.
So you knew you had to stay here, but you didn't have any you don't have any little kids. No. So it's kind of this is like the next part of your life. Right. Like what are you going to do for the next part of your life?
Right.
And then you're sitting at home for a few months, and then what are you considering? Like what are the options that you're thinking? I might do this. I might do that.
Right. I wanted to go into men's fashion with luxury fashion with the V Couture and V Collection here in Sylvania and Perrysburg, and I'd spent some time with those guys. They're good friends of mine, and I love them like crazy. I was going to be their manager in training down at V Couture, and it wasn't clicking. It wasn't happening. I just transitioned from being a pastor and just
sell men's clothing.
and I'm selling men's clothing, and I'd done that before, but maybe it was just a little early for me and for them, and it wasn't clicking the way that I think it needed to on both sides, and I still love them. And we just agreed that let's just backtrack and just wait for some more.
Just like anything, with me, mine was a forced redirection for me back in 2010 or 12 or 14, whatever it was, and you have to try some things before you know what you're going to do next.
Yeah, and sometimes you can make it a full-time job forcing the issue.
Right.
And I didn't want to do that.
And then you really end up being really miserable because you're not happy with yourself, and you're not happy with anybody else either.
Right.
I'd faced a lot of internal pressures in the last few years, not because of anybody. I'd gone through some major depression. I'd gone through some major issues that I was dealing with. Yeah. And not everybody's ready for that, especially as a pastor.
So then it comes. Your son just posts something on the internet and says, "Hey, my dad wants to be a model," which is probably one of the things you were just throwing out when you're looking for something, right?
Well, it was interesting because I'd left V about a month before that. I hadn't worked anywhere for a month. And Kevin Clay, the Barber Lounge owner, he called me just to kind of check on me, asked me how I was doing, and it was I was low. It was right on time because I was scraping the bottom of the barrel with my emotions. He said, "How you doing?" And I said, "Horrible, thanks." One of those.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you for being honest.
Yeah, thanks for asking me. He cuts my hair every month and every 3 weeks, and we talk, and he hadn't seen me in a little while, and he was curious, and I said, just kind of praying it through, thinking it through, what's next, and then he said, "Well, hang on, I've got a photo shoot for Donahue Eyewear. Would you be interested?" And I'm like, "Sure." I've done free photo shoots. I'm not going to get anything off of this. I'm going to do favors for people. I've done some for hats. I've done some for this and that. And eyewear, sure. And so we went up to Ann Arbor with 3 other models. Some were employees of his and some friends. And we went to Ann Arbor, spent a lot of the day. Kevin's wife was involved in that, and then he said, "Well, we're going to get you ready. We're going to go over to Detroit to the Shinola Hotel." I'm like, "What do you mean get me ready?" He said, "Well, most of your shoot will be there." I'm like, "Well, thank you very much."
Yeah, fancy hoity-toity hotel.
So we spent probably 12 hours for one day full of great pictures. We took about 3,500 pictures. And,
wow!
And just not just me, but everybody.
So I'm guessing. So you just did this just to help a friend out. You get home, you're like, "Hey, that was kind of cool, kind of fun." You tell your son. He posts something on the internet, and then it blows up. I mean, how many views have you had now?
I think it's over 18 million
interactions.
Wow.
Retweets were like 80 or 90,000.
Around the world, right? You said you have fans in Russia and France and.
I want to know what your wife has to say about all this with all those crazy ladies writing you and loving you.
What's your wife think?
Initially, she was grateful that I had a good day.
And get them out of the
house. She's just thankful that I smiled again.
If we're being honest, I mean, because I struggle with that now too. I struggle with that now too. A couple projects fall. You don't really know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Your wife's working, and you're like, "Man, I don't want her to be working, and me just don't have a way."
Yeah.
So this was putting some joy into you. She was loving it.
But not only that, though, it puts an emotional strain on his wife and their relationship because he's here, she's there, and all these other crazy people are out
there. I know. I mean, she has to be pretty.
She's got to be a tough girl.
Yeah,
she's very tough.
Good.
And it was great because when I came home from the shoot, she was so supportive, and she said, "I haven't seen you smile like this." In a long time.
Wow.
And she was almost in tears when I came home because I kind of floated home. I'm like, you know what? It's a free photo shoot. I'm loving this. This is great. But then the longer the day went, I'm like, you know what? This is awesome. And Kevin's like, you should be doing this. You should be doing this.
Yeah.
Get into this. I'm like, well, I need help. Okay, tomorrow I want to be a model. Yesterday I wanted to be in the NBA. And so what do you do? What do you do with that?
Right.
And so I'm just listening to him. He's like, hey, we've got connections. We'll see what we can do. And he said, I'll help you. I said, you got to help me because I'm not going to do it on my own.
Right.
That's not like me to go and pursue something like that.
Right.
And so I said, I will only do it.
Well, it wouldn't
if
be
you
your
help me.
personality as a pastor.
Right. I wouldn't do that.
What did the kids think?
Well, the whole thing was, after a few days, I'd gotten some of the pics and I showed my kids and I'd send them to them, and Colin, my 21-year-old, and my daughter actually, Laurel, she's 18. They kind of were scheming together to see what would happen. Because I was just joking, I was like, yeah, you guys, I'm just getting ready for my modeling career, just waiting for it to blow up. They know I'm just going to sit back and not do anything.
Right.
And they took that. And they created the tweet. And my dad is 45 and he's aspiring to be a model. I believe the tweet went, and he's just waiting to blow up, he said. And I'm like, oh, he really said that. And then he said, Twitter, meet my dad.
Oh, yeah.
And then that
went from there.
That night, a few of his friends, and then a few hundred, a few thousand, and within 3 days, we were the top trend in 5 countries.
And I'm watching Good Morning America, and I see it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So real quick, guys, we got to wrap up. We're so long, but it's so fascinating. So where's it going to go from there?
Well,
do we know yet?
We don't know.
Don't know yet.
It's just a matter of seeing all the different connections that are happening and different agencies. I haven't necessarily been contacted.
Right.
I'm kind of doing the work right now. I've had one agency. I have an interview this weekend, and we'll see what happens with that. I've had a few offers to do some book covers.
Romantic novels.
That one my wife is nixing right now.
Oh, no.
There you go.
Well, you could be Fabio.
Well, I'd like.
Well, and that's what they want me to do, some romantic fiction. They want me to be on the cover of those.
Yes,
and,
with no shirt.
well,
Sandy.
we'll see what happens.
No, I'm telling you, that's what they look like.
Well, I'll tell
no
you
shirt.
I'll tell you what. I'd like to have you back in like a month just to see how things are going
love
and
it.
go
That'd
from
be
there. It's amazing to follow you because we're following you on the infancy of this, and who knows where you don't even know where it's going to go.
First 2 weeks went crazy. Now it's really time to work if I'm going to do that.
Sure, yeah, because we nowadays have such a quick, short attention span.
Right.
So you got to keep yourself relevant. Clint Hazlett, well, thank you so much for coming in, sharing your story. Want to check back with you in a couple weeks, see how
Look
things are going.
forward to it. Good luck to you.
Clint Hazlett, we'll be right back.
Love My 419 is brought to you in part by the Laurels of Toledo. Embrace the Laurel Way.
That want to help with the instruction and some of the drills that we're going to be doing.
Wow, slam dunk right there.
Right?
Yeah, there you go, Steve. Slam dunk.
Good catch. Good catch.
I took the whole street corporate, taught them how to Forbes the list. Gold bottles, them gold bricks, these gold labels is frozen wrist. I used to use an alias. Now they all just wanna know the lens. So I run around my city with my mind up on them poker chips. Build a couple power plants, couple $1 million spent. Stole kilowatts for like 6 cents to the government. Must be my sixes, grossing is my sickness. Raise that GDP, get my visa on the interest. I'm getting corporate money, my dollars turn to euros. Gold queens on me, but they got.
Welcome back to Love My 419 from the Harold Jaffe Jeweler Studios. I'll introduce our guests in a moment. I'm Andrew Z, Sandy Eisenberg, and Steve Remy. This segment brought to you in part by
The Laurels of Toledo. Embrace the Laurel Way, the only facility in Northwest Ohio with the anti-G, anti-gravity treadmill machine.
And they will pick up and
They will
deliver.
come and pick you up and take you.
the
So-
Laurel Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Facility. All right.
Yep.
Want to introduce you to Jeremy Wolf. Jeremy, how you doing, Jeremy? Jeremy's
doing great.
with
Hi,
Danbury
Jeremy.
Realty, and you've got a big event coming up May 11th.
Do.
Tell us a little bit about it. It's a basketball clinic, I know.
It is a basketball clinic. So on May 11th, Saturday, from 10 to 1, we're going to have a clinic for kids 8 to 14. It's for children with special needs. So we wanted to really put something together to have the opportunity for kids that maybe can't participate on their school team or a recreation team to come out and have a fun day of learning and playing basketball.
What a great idea. I've never heard of anything like this. Is this something that, actually years ago, I remember they did a hockey thing where kids in wheelchairs, we did getting little sit-down hockey sleds and gave them an opportunity. But other than that, I've never heard of anything like this.
Well, it's the first time we've done it. We're really big on volunteering and giving back to the community at Danbury. So as I was kind of brainstorming of what I wanted to do, I thought, well, I've got a lot of experience playing basketball, and I have a daughter that has cognitive disorder that she was born with and has some special needs. So I just wanted to put the two together and create this event for kids to come out and have a fun day playing basketball and just.
And you're a big guy, so you play
I am
ball.
a big guy. Yeah, I'm a big guy. You guessed my height when I walked in. That was pretty.
What
well.
is it? What is it?
6'6".
6'6"?
6'6", yeah.
Oh, wow.
6 foot, so I have to duck through most.
size do you wear?
Well, 12 and a half, but I have high arches. If they were flat, they'd be 14s.
You're welcome, ladies.
Here's the great thing about this, Jeremy, is that you're not charging for this event.
Yeah, there's no charge at all. The kids can just come out, have fun. We've had, when I first started promoting this and announcing it, we've had an overwhelming response of volunteers that want to come out and help that day. People, that have basketball experience that want to help with the instruction.
So you're talking about capping this at 40.
Literally capping it.
Yes, capping it at 40 so that everyone gets good good opportunity.
Yeah, so
Plenty of
it's at the Proclaim FM Event Center in Angola Road in Holland. It's a really big gymnasium, but they have 4 baskets. So we're hoping to have about 40 kids, and we want to break them up into groups of 10, so everybody can get a lot of individualized attention and have the opportunity to participate and have a lot of fun. We're going to have some people there with some basketball experience that are going to help with the instruction, and then even volunteers that have contacted contacted me and said, hey, I know nothing about basketball, but can I help, sign the kids up or registration or they just want to be a part of it.
Is this the first time you put an event in general together yourself?
Yeah, I've never really put an event together, so yeah, I'm scrambling around. I'm scrambling around, and we've been fortunate enough. We've had some great sponsors in addition to the volunteers. I've had a lot of businesses that have reached out and said, hey, what can we do to help? And
That's great.
We've got a lot of exciting things planned for the kids that day.
Too many people say no to you.
No, that's but on the phone they don't know how big I am.
The other great thing is, like you said, sponsors have been so willing to help, and all the kids are going to get to go home with their own basketball, which is awesome. Even if they don't have, if they have autism or special needs and they've never participated, this is a great, with no experience, they can come out and just have some fun and interact with other parents and kids that are going through this, and the
parents too.
Yeah, it's great.
Need to know there's supportive guys and gals out there.
Resources for some of the people that
yeah.
there too.
Saturday, May 11th, it's basketball clinic for children with special needs, no charge. How can we get more information?
You can contact me. My cell phone number is 419-966-6418. We're asking people to email me if they want to register, but it's jeremywolf@danbury.com, and then on social media we're posting the flyers and getting as much of that out there as we can. And that was kind of the surprise announcing to you today. We've said that we're going to have a grand prize, but I haven't announced that yet. So every participant is going to go home with a brand new basketball.
I stole your thunder, Jeremy.
But we wanted to announce that today.
That's very cool.
That's going to happen as a result of the McClure Insurance Group and Liberty Title. They have pooled together to purchase those basketballs, and then Amlin Auctions is going to do T-shirts for every single participant and water bottle. So everybody's going to go home at least with a basketball, a T-shirt, and a water bottle. And then we also have a gentleman at CEE Imaging that has agreed to come in and do still photos of the event.
That's great.
And then we've also got production team from
Andre Savage. If I Love My 419 is going to come out and give everyone a video.
Yes, we're gonna have him actually. He's going to be helping with some of the instruction, but we're going to have
basketball player.
Yeah, he's a
he'll be teaching
player.
in one hand. He's got the camera in the other.
Well,
that Andre's a talented dude.
I know, but I think he is going to have somebody there doing video footage. So it's just going to be a really, really fun
event. Well, we wish you
event.
lots of good luck.
Well, thank
Jeremy
you so
Wolf,
much.
thank you so much. Saturday, May 11th, the free basketball clinic for those kids with special needs. Take a break. Come back with more next. Hang on.
All right, thank you.
Love My 419 is brought to you in part by The Laurels of Toledo. Embrace the Laurel Way. Love My 419 is brought to you in part by the Joe Hamill team of Key Realty.
The most perfectly cut, most gorgeous cushion diamond in all the world. Fire Cushion. Exclusively at Harold Jaffe.
Love My 419, brought to you in part by Amy's Cleaning Service, the Wonder Woman of cleaning. Feature your business now on Love My 419. Now back to Love My 419.
For Steve Reamy, Sandy Eisenberg, I'm Andrew Z. You guys have a great Easter weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next weekend right here on Love My 419.